John Lorden here. Welcome to the first Case Cracked for 2018. As you can see, I've changed the visual format a little bit. I got some feedback from you guys. Apparently, when I'm reading off the paper, my eyes kind of drop too low. So we're going to try this format out. Let me know if you think this is working better or not. Let's go ahead and jump right into the case. This is a case that I think it's really important to talk about. It's important to share this type of information because I know other people out there are facing similar situations, and I hope by hearing what happens in this story, maybe they'll reach out for help. We'll talk more about the details of that at the end. Today's case is the case of Rachael Madison. November 2016. Rachael Madison knew she had to make a change. Things were getting worse with her husband, Jarvis Wayne Madison, who goes by Wayne. They were essentially homeless, living between motels, bouncing around Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana. But on November 14th, well, that was probably the worst of it yet. Rachael and Wayne were in his car, and she told him that she wanted to leave him. He pulled out a gun and held her captive, verbally threatening her. Rachael eventually convinced him that she needed to use a bathroom. He pulled over, and she made a break for it. She ran down a road, and a moment later heard a gunshot. Luckily, she wasn't hit, and she was able to run into a local Walmart and flag down a security officer. She told the police about the whole ordeal. They filed an arrest warrant on Wayne. Rachael's aunt came out and brought Rachael back to her aunt's home in Ormond Beach, Florida. Maybe moving over 1,000 miles away would help Rachael feel safe, and she could restart her previously troubled life. Jarvis Wayne Madison has a history of domestic violence according to his records. He had similar occurrences in 2005 and 2013, both with other women he tried to confine in his car and threatened to kill. Rachael had taken out an emergency protective order on him at least once previously. Rachael's aunt, Thelma Newsome, noticed scars from the alleged ongoing abuse. She saw several knife wounds and even an acid burn on Rachael's back, covering up a tattoo. Then there were the phone calls. Since Rachael had left, Wayne had been calling her and her family members, threatening to kill Rachael if she didn't come back to him. Still, Rachael was moving forward, trying to make positive changes. She wrote positively in her daily journal, and she was even putting a resume together so she could find work. Her father was also working on getting her a vehicle of her own. Rachael had 2 children from a previous relationship. Maybe she still had time to become a good example for them. On November 27, 2016, less than 2 weeks after leaving Wayne, he called her again around 1 p.m. She got off the phone and about 30 minutes later went out for a run. That was the last time Thelma saw her niece. Thelma called 911 and told them her niece was missing with no money, no cell phone, and no friends in the area. She also let them know about the threatening phone calls from Wayne. Media started covering the case of the missing woman, looking for a silver 2011 Honda Pilot with Indiana plates. It wouldn't take long to find the car, but it would still be too late. On December 2nd, the U.S. Marshals Service Fugitive Task Force caught up with Jarvis Wayne Madison in Louisville, Kentucky. They found him in his silver 2011 Honda Pilot, despite the fact that he had changed the license plate from his Indiana plates to Tennessee license plates that weren't even registered to him. When they initially questioned him, he admitted to driving down to Florida to see his wife. He said he was bringing her some of her belongings, and that when they saw each other, they kissed, and she got into his car. Wayne would later wind up confessing to his wife's murder, stating that he shot her 3 times while they were in the car, and he even led investigators to her body on the side of a highway exit in Kodak, Tennessee. Investigators also searched his car, where they found the gun, a .45 caliber, as well as a receipt for a shovel, and not only his cell phone, but hers as well. The passenger seat was covered in bloodstains. Found on his cell phone were pictures of her lifeless body. But that's not all there is to this case. Wayne may have been helped by a former FBI employee. Belinda Sandy was romantically involved with Wayne for several years. After Rachael left, he stayed with Belinda at her home in West Virginia. She gave him money and even bought him new tires for his trip to Florida. They spoke for over 20 minutes on the phone the day Rachael disappeared. When investigators questioned her the day after Rachael disappeared, she denied knowing anything about where Wayne was. Investigators even made it clear to Belinda that Rachael was missing, and they saw her phone records reflecting the over 20-minute call to Wayne. But she continued to claim that she hadn't seen Wayne in a long time. After Belinda was questioned, she arranged to meet up with Wayne at a local 7-Eleven gas station. She told him that investigators were on his trail. Police believe that he traveled to Tennessee after this meeting, meaning there's a very good chance that Rachael's body was actually in the car at this time. Belinda Sandy's misleading conduct towards the investigators ultimately delayed Madison's arrest on federal kidnapping charges and delayed the recovery of the victim's body, U.S. Attorney's Office of the Middle District of Florida stated in a news release. Belinda was charged with obstruction of justice and pleaded guilty in May of 2017. The following August, she was sentenced to 7 years and 3 months in federal prison. Jarvis Wayne Madison is charged with kidnapping that resulted in a death, interstate domestic violence, and interstate stalking. His trial is set to begin in March of 2018 and will take place in Florida, where Rachael was last seen alive. He has pleaded not guilty. When asked by reporters what happened, he said, quote, "My wife went home to be with Jesus. She won't suffer no more because of her ex." He also told those reporters that he did not kill her. Of course, he is innocent until proven guilty, but considering his confession and the evidence found, I'm very comfortable calling this a case cracked. If you're facing anything that sounds familiar from this story, please reach out and get help. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is an organization we've supported in the past. We've made donations directly to them. You can call them directly at 1-800-799-7233, or you can even visit them online at www.thehotline.org, where you can chat with people live that want to help. They even have this really cool warning about your web browser right at the start. It'll let you know basically if you can be tracked with how you're talking to them. They're really doing everything they can to help people in domestic violence situations. And I'm basically pleading with you, if you're in a situation like this, please reach out for help. There are people out there that want to help you. There are steps you can take to try to improve your life and get out of this type of thing. So I will also have info in the description box below for how to contact them at the National Domestic Violence Hotline. Thanks, everyone, for coming and visiting me on this, the first episode of Case Cracked for the year. Like I mentioned in a video a little while ago, we won't have Case Cracked every single week, but on weeks where I don't have Searchlight updates, we're going to do Case Cracked. So this show will continue, just not quite at the same frequency. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you back here tomorrow on the Lord and Arch channel.